Hey, what's up guys, myself and welcome. After years trying to figure out a way and whatever, finally Logitech came on with an answer, because for some reason the previous software was a little bit cuckoo. To another tech video. The $600 live streaming / gaming, the PC. Honestly, for the price is actually really good. Welcome to the live streaming / gaming PC build. So yeah, fair warning, there might be a little bit of problems with the video itself because of, well, first, my PC is crappy, and second, Google Chrome really has to fix their memory usage and CPU usage. I'm not sure what's wrong with my CPU. It's dead. I already know that, but wow. Man, I need a new computer. So without wasting time, let's get to the PC build.
Okay, before this video starts, I just want to mention this. I've always named because I feel like I did name something in this video wrong, so I always want to say it, and I didn't have the time, but now I do. So I'm sorry for naming anything here wrong or any parts here wrong. I'm saying this because every time I say a graphics card or a GPU, naming things can make it a little bit confusing, so I always forget a couple things. Now I do realize that things like, for example, a graphics card and a GPU, that graphics card is the hardware while the GPU is the chip inside. It just, in my brain, I'm not sure which one to say which, so I end up saying that GTX 1060 graphics card, a GPU, which I think, from what I remember, it's not totally correct. That is a graphics card. What's inside that graphics card is the GPU. So in summary, I do end up saying things wrong, so sorry if I do. But yeah, without wasting time, back to the video. Okay, so this PC build is on my kit.co profile, so if you guys want to check it out, it's going to be in the kit itself is going to be in the description down below, and you guys can check my profile picture. Create your kit.co account and follow me. So I made the kit.co. That's what I'm doing these days. Actually, I'm doing the kit.co stuff, or any PC build in kit.co, because it's much easier than have to copy all the links and send it on it's really complicated. So I made things easier for me and for you guys as well, because it's really simple to enter here. So this is my kit.co account, and I made this guy, the $600 gaming / live streaming PC build, August 2020. That's actually the title of the video. So, okay, for some stupid reason I wrote, if you want to live stream in a budget, this is and will be the best option to live stream against all PC out there. Which, technically speaking, it is. So I build a PC for a great price with the best parts that I could find for a cheaper price and all that stuff. I tried to find the best option overall for $600. I even went ahead, I even changed a couple parts here just to save money. This is what's the best I found. This is literally what I could found that is great, that is not bad, and that is perfect for live streaming on a budget. Keep in mind there's a couple of sacrifices here and there and things that you might not get, but also things that will help you, especially if you're live streaming. So yeah, starting first would be with the CPU. Now the CPU I went with is the AMD Ryzen 5 2600 processor, which comes already with the Wraith Stealth cooler, which is pretty good cooler, really good cooler, especially for a stock cooler. Not bad, really not bad. It's a 6-core 12 threads processor. And even though it's a last gen, since there's the third gen, the 3600, I think, yeah, 3600K and all that stuff, which is much faster than this guy, it still has 6-core processor. It's still a 6-core processor anyways,
And being old doesn't mean it's bad. It's actually still functionally well. It works well, and especially for live streaming, it works fine. And since we're adding a great GPU for live streaming as well, this CPU is perfect for a low budget streaming situation. So yeah, and also for, I believe it was $112, I don't even remember, but for like $120 something, it's really cheap. Don't quote me on the prices, I don't really remember the prices, but it's the cheapest I could find. It was actually a little bit more expensive by a Ryzen 3, and Ryzen 3 is like, what, $100? That's really cheap. The next up is the GPU. Now the GPU I chose was the GTX 1660 from Asus, the Asus Gaming GeForce GTX 1660, which is overclocked edition, and a dual fan. There was also the one fan, so if you want that, it's the same price and same link. You can actually choose the thing. But I went with a dual fan because better cooling. And the reason why I went with a GTX 1660 is for two really obvious big reasons. One is this guy is actually on a cheap price. It's $214 or $15, which is $5 more cheaper, or $5 to $15 more cheaper than you can find. And because it's the minimum, or the minimum graphics card that has the new NVENC video encoding for live streaming for a great price as well. So if you're searching for a live streaming GPU as well for gaming and live streaming, so you can, which is great if you do that, because I would recommend you to use the video encoder of your graphics card to not harsh or make your processor work too hard. Then if you need to use an NVENC, the minimum you will require is a GTX 1660 that comes with an NVENC. Although there is another option which you guys could go with, but I would recommend you guys to go with the GTX 1660 anyways. But there is the GTX 1650 Super, which back then a GTX 1650 did not have the new encoder, only the old one, which was weak. But the GTX 1650 Super has the new video encoder, but again, because when you use a video encoder of your graphics card, performance will decrease a little bit. So technically speaking, you will pretty much have a GTX 1650 that's a bit stronger, but not that much because of the video encoder being used. So the reason why I went with the GTX 1660 is because you'll get higher than 60 FPS even when using the video encoder, and the performance won't be annoying or won't be bad comparing to a GTX 1650 Super. So yeah, but you still have an option of a GTX 1650 Super, and you'll actually save up a good amount of money. I believe $30. Buying this guy would be a great deal. Do not buy anything else except for anything that's GTX 1650 Super or higher. So even a GTX 1650 Ti, which is supposed to be stronger than a GTX 1650, does not support the new NVENC. So GTX 1650 Super, then after that 1660 and above is the only one that supports the new NVENC. So that's why I went with this guy. And plus, for a good price and great performance, it's honestly not a bad deal. And if you really want to stream without any problem, this is the guy for you. Now for the RAM, I went with the Team Group T-Force Vulcan Z, which is a DDR4 16 gigs of RAM, so 2 kits of 8 gigs, and it's a 3000 megahertz, which is not as fast but also not as slow. It's actually really decent and works fine with this PC build, and for a really cheap price. So I believe it's $55. So yeah, I was searching for the best RAM per price and performance and all that, and this is the best one I could find for a great price. And since it's being 16 gigs of RAM, not the fastest but still really good, it's honestly the best option I could find. There's also another thing though I would say is I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm wrong, that the Ryzen 5 does not support higher than 3000 megahertz. Maybe it does, I'm not sure, but if it does, then you can find something cheaper. But what I found was the best I could find for a great price, so this is what I think is the best for you. Now for the motherboard, this is a really
questionable motherboard, and I know a lot of you guys might say that it's not really a good option at all, and I recommend, I agree. But since we're in a budget, I thought, well, I am not gonna find a B450 or a B550 or anything. I'm not gonna get bothered to find one, and it will make the PC build from $600 to $650. So I thought, well, this motherboard supposedly supports Gen 2 and maybe Gen 3, but with the BIOS update, and it has everything you need. So I went with the Gigabyte GA A320M S2H. There's a lot of names there, but it's an A320M motherboard. Oh boy. So yeah, it's a really cheap motherboard. It's $55 as well, so you see what I mean. But that this PC will have, and plus even a couple of things. So if you want an M.2 SSD, luckily this guy have one, surprisingly. But this is not the best motherboard in the world. It's not your typical great looking motherboards. It's not. Even the ports is, it could have been better, but it does support what you need, at least. Does not have even a USB-C, so if you plan to get something with a USB-C, then get a B450 or B550 for that. But I went with this guy because it's cheap. It's the cheapest one, actually. It does have everything you need, so it does have dual sticks of RAM, not 4 sticks, which, I mean, for a cheap motherboard, what do you expect? Does have a PCL E3X4 for your M.2 SSDs. Only one, surprisingly. USB 3s, all the Type A's, and an Ethernet port. Look, I was searching for the best I could find. So yeah, this is it. So for $55, at least supports Gen 2 and even Gen 3 with a BIOS update, and it will do the job for you for a good amount of time, at least until you can upgrade. So for now, this is the best I can find, and it does deliver what you need. So yeah, but again, I would recommend you to update in the future if you can. Now for storage, I couldn't go with an M.2 SSD nor add a hard drive, which I really would. So I went with the PNY CS900, 480 gigs of SSD. So it's a 2.5 inch SSD, so it's a SATA based SSD. It gives you a good amount of speeds, so I believe 500 megabytes speed. So it's pretty much 2.5 times faster than the hard drive, which would be better than nothing. I mean, that's why people want something much faster than a hard drive, and this is the guy. 480 gigs is not a lot, but it's enough to have your system's drive and a couple of games if you want. So a couple of, like, maybe 2, 3, 5 if you're lucky games in it, which is better than nothing, as long as it's not Call of Duty Warzone. In that case, goodbye to your storage. So yeah, for 480 gigs of SSD for only about $50 as well. Well, actually no, $48. It's a great price. So yeah, you could go with an M.2 SSD plus a hard drive, but it'll cost a little bit more. But if that's your priority, then yeah, you could go there, you could do that. But now for the power supply, I went with the best, or with the cheapest but still good power supply I could find. I was gonna go with a Thermaltake, but the EVGA 500 watts power supply was in a much cheaper price. I think it's $40 for 500 watts power supply with 80 plus white certification, so that's a good amount of efficiency. So this is the guy I found. I would say there's much better power supplies than this guy. This guy's a bit ugly and not sure about it that much, but since it's the best I can find for a good price, then this is the guy. You could get the Thermaltake one, but it's pretty much almost the same with a couple of things here and there, but it's pretty much almost the same for a bit more expensive. So I went with this guy. It has 500 watts, so it's good enough for you to power your system. and it works. And for 500 watts with 40 bucks only, so that's really cheap for 500 watts power supply. I added it into this PC build. I mean, it's cheap. It's ugly and weird, but it's cheap. It works. So yeah. And finally, to end it all off is with a case, and the PC case of choice is the Defqwop Matrix with double X 30. It's a mini tower, so it's a micro ATX and a mini ATX, and it has a tempered glass for only 40 bucks. That's really cheap for a 40 bucks case. So really good looking case for 40 bucks. This is the case for choice, of our choice. So yeah, really recommended. So overall, this PC build is gonna cost around of $600, 600.5, but pretty much $600. Again, overall, this PC build is the perfect choice for a budget streamer, since again, you have a 6-core processor, a graphics card that not only plays games really well, but also has the new video encoder, so streaming will be more comfortable for people. 16 gigs of RAM, so enough power to play games and stream, and also talk with your friends, all that stuff. A good amount of storage, a decent motherboard that supports the parts, and also a good power supply and a good case. So overall, it's a perfect PC. I just really can't think. There might be ways, but on a normal way, this is just great in my opinion. So if you're looking for $600 that can game and live stream in 2020 especially, this is the perfect guy. So yeah, that's it for today. That's it for today's PC build video. So if you guys want to have any recommendation or anything, let me just go back to the webcam. Oh, it's me. So if you guys have any recommendation, any opinion on your own, if you guys think I could have done better than this guy, comment down below. I think I did a good job. I think this is the best I could find and the best for the price. I think maybe there's something you can change, but for the most part, this might be what you could possibly build for a good price, especially for $600. This I can't see anything else. If you have questions of things like could I build it with an AMD graphics card or fully AMD, I wouldn't really recommend, since AMD does not have a good video encoder for live streaming. They say they have one, but comparing to Nvidia's, I wouldn't really go with it. And if you see any video out there on YouTube that a guy recommends a AMD graphics card for live streaming for a cheap price, I would say get off. I really would recommend you to get off, because it's not great, and AMD's video encoder for live streaming is really not great. So really don't click on that video. Don't go with what that guy says, because it's a red flag pretty much. It's a no video. It's a no build. Just don't. It won't work the way you think it is. Comparing to this guy will perform better than AMD, fully AMD PC build. CPU, yes, because, well, for a cheap price, they give you a good amount of CPU cores, but graphics card don't. So there's that. Especially, and also not 8 gigs, because let's be honest, 8 gigs is not enough. It's great, it's crap, and many other things. So yeah, but mostly the thing that gives you a red flag is the GPU. Always the best for live streaming is Nvidia. No AMD. Do not go with AMD. AMD is crap for live streaming. Great for gaming, bad for live streaming. So there's that. But without wasting time, comment down below your opinion, comment down below your thoughts, give a like, stay for more content, share this video, share this channel if you guys want to, share the content. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next tech video, or next video, any video. So yeah, peace.